we go. I think we've done this part.
Yeah.
You know who we are.
And then you press photo, actually.
All right, we'll get started. So we'll get kicked off, making sure there's no other one. Cool. So there's the sales pipeline Backburner. This is one that I reckon I probably shook up about 5 years ago, probably 4 years ago, I think it was. Now the issue, the idea or the preface around the sales pipeline Backburner stage is that in some cases, you've got your logical sales pipeline that you've got there. And in some cases, there is an opportunity that is pretty much ready to rock and roll, but it's obviously been pushed back or delayed due to circumstances outside your control. It might be actually because of you, because of internal, whatever it might be. So what I used to do back in the day was go through and actually either close lost the deal, and then what I'd do is I'd go through into my calendar and set a reminder or a task within HubSpot to go through and say, hey, make sure you contact this person about this deal, yada, yada, yada.
Or you'd hope you remembered it.
Well, that's the thing, is that I probably did it like when you're in that sales mode and you've got a phone call, there's often times that you kind of trip up and forget. And I think what I found is that there was a number of deals that I just completely forgot about. Some of them got back in touch with me, but some of them, I guess, kind of just went completely dead. So there had to be a way that it could automatically do it for me. So the sales pipeline Backburner, which we'll show you in just a moment, is another stage that goes towards the back of the pipeline that the deal is moved to. And then once the deal moves to the Backburner stage, what it does is that we've set some properties, a date property, which we'll show you in a second, that basically says, when should you contact this person again? What that does is that we use the automation tool to go through, and what we'll do is at that date or the day before that date, we'll automatically get that deal, move it straight back to the front of the pipeline or a specific stage within that sales pipeline, and then notify the salesperson that that deal has come back to life, has unburnt, if you will, and then that will notify you. A few reasons why this is, I think, beneficial. One, it's so easy to a point that as soon as you get off a call, or even if you're on a call, you can move that deal to the Backburner stage, select the date, and then just forget about it. I think that's the big part. And I think I did it for me because I knew I'm a little bit forgetful with that sort of things. But if you can try to make your sales team or your sales process more efficient so that you can minimize the amount of errors, whether a person's a high performer or a low performer, I think this minimizes it and definitely assists teams to help, I guess, close more of the deals without any error on the user specifically. So some of the stuff that you probably want to know is, well, what does it look like? How does it work? Well, this is what we're going to do and show you. Let's have a look.
I think one big thing with the Backburner is that with your deal pipeline, it keeps live deals and active deals in the pipeline instead of deals that someone says, oh, let's catch up. Let's talk about this in the new financial year. Like, your pipeline will be live deals that are being worked at the moment and not necessarily just ones that are sitting stagnant for 2, 3, 6 months sort of thing.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, the example that I've got here. Hopefully everyone can see that. If so, just give us a thumbs up or an emoji or whatnot. But basically, this is a HubSpot user group. It's my $1 million deal. They've said, hey, we're keen to move forward with you. We are completing the implementation of X, Y, and Z over the next month or two. Can we connect back on that? Then what we can do is pick it back up, get the contract all signed, get everything sorted out. If you can't get that contract signed for any reason whatsoever, then what we do is we move it all the way to the Backburner. And then once you drop it into the Backburner, it pops up and says when to contact again. So we can go through and say, okay, well, let's just contact at the end of the month, or let's contact, the end of next month or whatever that might be, and click on next. One thing Geordie likes to do, or you want to tell them what you do?
One thing I like to add in here as well is another property that is Backburner Notes, and it's just a multi-line text property where basically you can just give some context as to why it has hit the Backburner. So on that date, say the 31st of May here, when Trav wants to get in contact with these people again, then when it hits you back, you add into that task or that notification that you have your notes there, and it could be decision maker was away on holidays, reconnect, and then you automatically see that in the email and you know exactly going back into it, what the content, this deal's popped up.
Yeah. I will say, just from like a sales methodology point of view, if anything, so time kills all deals. Everyone knows that. So if you are moving this deal back to the back burner and whatnot, my recommendation, which is not really HubSpot-esque, but make sure that you get a confirmed meeting time. So for example, when to contact again, please contact me the end of May. No worries. I'll go ahead and send out a calendar invite now. So there's that commitment from them as well. But then I'm moving that deal to the back burner stage as well, just so that my pipe is nice and clean and everything that's active is active there. And, we're not getting sort of any drag on the deal length of it as well, or the velocity that we've got there. So when we move it to next, we'll see that moves to back burner. The question is, what does that look like in the back end? This is getting recorded too, so you can stop and pause and do all that sort of stuff if you need to. But we go over to here to deal workflows. This is just a test portal that we've got as well. There we go. Clicked on the wrong one. And we when to contact again. It's pretty simplistic because they have updated the workflows to allow for date and time now, which is really great. So what we said is, if the deal stage enters the back burner pipeline, we're going to contact them again on that property at 7 a.m. So what that is going to do is it's going to move that deal back into the stage, which is going to be the new lead assigned at 7 o'clock. But then we also want to make sure that we clear that property as well. Should that deal go back into it as well, we just want to make sure that deal property is nice and clean and there's nothing in there as well. It's actually that simple. You can do some other things as well, like internal notifications. I mean, you should have them when new deals pop up in your pipeline anyway. But then what you can do is you can go set tasks or internal or external notifications if need be. But that one there, super simple. It's literally 3 steps, and it will save you, from any lost deals that you've got there.
I think the only other thing I would add to this as well is having a unenrollment trigger or criteria for this, where if it leaves the back burner, so say you set a date for 2-3 months time, and then that person comes back from holidays early, or they're ready to talk about the deal much earlier, you move it from back burner back into new lead, or maybe you pitch, then it wouldn't send you that reminder and move the deal on this date. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably really important, because if you've moved a deal out of back burner, it's in your live pipeline, you don't want to have these actions happen because it's actually
already
live again.
Yeah. That's right. So this will be recorded, so you can have a look through that as well. So that's the first one. Hopefully that's valuable. Keen to hear if anyone's actually tried something similar to this or something along those lines, or whether it'll actually be helpful. If so, just let us know in the chat there, and just let us know as well.
I think one final thing I'll add to that as well, while we've built that as a stage in your pipeline, you could also have it in something like, if you go back to the deal pipeline, you could also have it in any stage along there, and it could be a follow-up. Like, one thing could be sending a contract, and you could say follow-up date, and you could have that when to contact again, and that's when you follow up the contract. Just for any sort of notifications where you want to set a timeline on when you want to reach out again. It's the same as creating a task, but instead you're just dragging a deal to a stage, adding a date, and done.
Yeah.
Just simplifying it.
I think it's understanding your strengths and weaknesses and of either yourself or the team, and then basically just trying to build in those contingencies just to make sure that nothing gets dropped, and you're servicing people as best as you can. So awesome. You're next. You're up next, mate. You've got the limelight. How do you feel?
Feeling good.
Feeling good. Look great.
The next one we talk about is sequences. This is, again, it's a tool that if you've got Sales Pro or Enterprise, you'll have in there. It's a tool that I typically find that people don't use that commonly
at all.
Pretty much at all.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is that people don't know what it is. What a sequence is. Sequence, it's kind of similar. It lives up here in automation sequences. It's similar to a workflow, like an automation. However, it's used as a follow-up tool. And basically what will happen is, and I'll jump inside here and take a look at what one will look like, but it would send a sequence of tasks, internal tasks to yourself, emails, or a kind of a list of actions, which we'll jump into, until that person either replies to your email or they book a meeting. So it's kind of, it could be sending a quote and then you enroll them in the sequence to follow up the quote.
Yeah.
say for a simple consumer lead or something like that, and then it will continue to send emails or send you tasks to call them on certain days until they book a meeting with you or they reply. So
it just helps you do the things that you do manually as well. So have a think about how, like, if you're using the sales tools in your sales process, and if you or your team are having to follow up more than twice, in my opinion, this would be a great tool. And you can customize this as well to make sure it doesn't sound like it's sort of templated somewhat. But the intent is to get that reply from that person because everybody's a little bit busy. So
yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is making it sound natural. Like I think we all get this type of email in our inboxes where you read it and you automatically think, this is, well, I personally read it and go, this is like automated. This is not a real person because it's just not written quite like that.
We kind of probably heavily against sort of super cold outreach, like purchasing lists or anything like that. I mean, there is a time and a place, but you can, if you have too many sort of bounces and too many flags with spam and things like that, you can actually get your account locked from sending emails. So just be a little bit thoughtful on how that is used. Again, we're kind of using this scenario. You've sent the quote out and you're just following up. I'm not saying cold outreach is completely dead and you shouldn't use this for it, but just buying lists and then throwing them in here and just going absolute ham is not. It's a very, very 80s thing to do. It's not something that heavily works, or we sort of push here in Neighbourhood anyway.
So if I jump into create a sequence here, it actually gives you, HubSpot already have all these ready-made templates and things ready to go. And with these, I guess here are some just examples of the ones they've got. Is like you've had a recent conversion, someone's downloaded content, and this is kind of like they just downloaded something and you're just going to follow up, and I need to actually create it first, actually dive into the preview. But you can see here that on day one, it'll automatically send an email saying, hey, what did you think of that content you downloaded? Then 2 business days later, you get a notification to call them. Then you get down here as a manual email task, just sending a follow-up email. And then 3 business days. It's just a bit of a follow-up system there. So your your team can follow a structure to doing this sort of a thing.
We got Marie, her team loves using sequences. So
love it. Not many people really use it. So
thinking in our 8 years, I reckon I've found maybe 3 or 4 people that use it, which is hectic.
And use it well as well.
Yeah.
Product or demo requests, post-call meeting, follow-up sequences, prospecting. This one is call heavy, so it's getting you to make more calls or your sales team to make more calls versus email heavy, sending a lot more emails. Left voicemail, unable to contact. So if someone was meant to show up to a meeting and then you just want to send this until they reply or book another meeting with you, there's some really helpful things here. And I think as a starting point, good to use one of these templates and then just jump in and update the actual content in here. Because while it gives you a good kind of skeleton and kind of a rough idea of what to write, it might not sound like you and how you communicate with people.
Or the culture of your business as well.
Yeah, exactly. So let's use there's even a re-engage cold prospect, which is a really helpful one, which should be used way more often.
What does it look like, George?
Let's just dive in here. Come with me on a journey. So if we create that.
Mind you, this just got a complete new lick of paint. That's why we put new in there as well. This is definitely an upgrade from what it was. Marie, you probably know from using it so much, is that this definitely is a lot easier on the eyes than it was back in the day. That's for sure.
So you can see with this one here, re-engaging a cold prospect, automated email day one, you would enroll them, and you can enroll them from inside your email tool if you're using the sales extension. That is where you go into create a new email, and it says sequences, and you can roll them directly through that. So automated email on day one. If we want to take a bit of a look into what this is, we can edit email, replace it with an existing template we have. We can play around with a few things here. But you'll see here, this is just the template that it has automatically created for you. And you can go through here and update whatever you want. And so this is where I think it's that tone of voice is really important. So it actually sounds like a real person. Sounds like a real person for one, but it also sounds like your team or your people. Like I know I probably wouldn't communicate like this. I don't know whether how you'd write things as well.
It'd be a lot more casual.
Yeah, I think I would too. Even update as a subject line. I'm not sure I'd really write that. I'd probably try to give it a bit more context. The beauty with sequences though is that when you do go into your email tool and you go to send it, you can then edit that email before you send it. So you could tailor it to a specific cold prospect, their company, their project that you discussed, or reference previous conversations you've had with them.
Just the first one.
You can go.
Oh, nice.
You can go through all it before you press send. It pops up with the full chain of emails and everything, and you can edit all of them. But say if you make an update, you can update existing template. And with these as well, this is a template. So when you do go into your templates in the portal, this will exist, and you could use just this one email, or you can enroll them in the sequence and it uses all of them.
Nice.
Then as well, you can add the different actions in here. One helpful thing, well, there's the automated email. That is just a task to send an email. So if you want your team to have a more personalized, more hands-on approach with it, it'll be just a task reminder. Say, hey, send that follow-up email. You can get a task to make a call, or just a general reminder there. There is also the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So you can, if you're doing your following up cold prospects on LinkedIn, or you're prospecting on LinkedIn, they can use the.
I'll say it's pretty rubbish, because if you actually read the task there, it's actually only creating a task for you to send a request. You could just do that as a general task up the top there. So I just wanted to let you know there's no real benefit, hugely benefit to it, because it's just sending a task. There is other features with the LinkedIn Sales Navigator that you can integrate, but like that's just a task.
Outside of this, yeah. You can set the delays here. That's good because it's business days as well. So you're not getting these sort of follow-up, you're not sending these emails on weekends when people are way less likely to actually read them and reply to them as well. You'll see here, and as I mentioned earlier with sequences, that they will continue until that person actually responds or books a meeting with you. So probably a key thing there is get the team to put their meeting link inside of these emails, which you can actually do. If I go edit email, this is just a standard template. So insert meeting link, and you can choose a specific one that you want to do, your meeting link, or sender's meeting link. So if I send this, it's going to grab one of my meeting links. If Trav sends it, it's going to grab his.
It'll be the default. You can set the default in the meeting links, but it'll only send the default.
Yeah. So I can update that. And so you'll see that, automated email will send that, delay 3 days, and then delay 2 days, send the next automated email. In between that time, if that person has booked a meeting, it doesn't continue. These don't continue, which is really good.
I think that's next one across the automation.
I'll quickly touch on this. I guess there's the executing only on business days. You have a window when it sends. So if you guys work amongst across different time zones, you can set those time zones. This could be a specific time zone related sequence. And you can send for your tasks reminders to yourself to actually follow up and complete them. And so this is where you can actually do the automation side of things. So here it unenrolls them from the sequence if they reply. All contacts. So if you are sending this to a company that has multiple contacts in it in HubSpot, if one of them replies, it will then unenroll all of them. And then meeting booked, any scheduling pages, any meeting, if they book, it'll unenroll them from here.
Nice.
Let's go save on that. I mentioned as well, you can enroll people directly from in your email market or email tool. That just pops up with that sales extension. We don't have an example to show here, but you just enroll them through that. It pops up with all the emails. You can make an edit to that and then press send and just enroll. Or you could do it manually through here. The one thing for your team to be aware of is there is some email sending limits based on the tier. It's just so you don't get hit with spam. If you're sending out, 1,000 emails from my email, it gets a bit dodgy or looks a bit dodgy with email providers. So I think for professional, it's 50 or 100 per day per person. Yeah, that's the sequences tool.
Awesome. Thanks, George. So the next one we've got here, tip number 3 is sales goals. So it'd be keen to actually understand who here, I guess, is kind of currently using sales goals. It's a tool that is, I wouldn't say brand new at all, but it's definitely been a lot more, it's been worked on significantly over the last, I guess, maybe sort of 6 months. For those that have enterprise, they have now actually brought in an opportunity for you to actually create a goal from scratch. Again, this is super early days, so I wouldn't sort of take this as gospel. But in order to find where these sales goals are, you might have seen them at sales, and then you can come up here. Actually, no, they're not. They're in the cog, aren't they? Yep. So you go to the cog, and then we go down to objects, and then we go down to, where is that?
Above tracking analytics.
Tracking analytics, sorry.
They actually, in our
legacy goals.
This is our test portal. It should say goals there. We've only got the legacy goals in this one for some reason.
Yeah. So yeah, tracking analytics, and then basically this is where it would live in yours, which takes you to the goals area. I'll rush through this because there is so many different types of ways that you can set this up. The best way for you can kind of see here from the examples that we've got here that you can set up quarterly sales goals specifically, fiscal year. You can do monthly, and you could basically set them for all the different types of periods as well. So you could set up monthly goals for 12 months ahead, and then basically put targets towards those. Then you can assign those to a specific pipeline as well. I'll do a little speed round because it is 1:30 already, so we've got a couple more to go through. But from a creator template that we can go through here, what we can do is we can go through and actually set these up to say, okay, this is going to be a sales goal, is it going to be a services goal, or is it going to be a marketing goal? From here, are we going to say, we want you to create X amount of deals, make X amount of calls, make X amount of meetings, or create X amount of revenue?
We'll say there that the revenue one is only for sales enterprise. Mm-hmm. The professional one, that's where you get the deals created, calls made, and meetings booked.
I will go to the deals created just in case those don't have it. So we can go ahead and click on myself and then go through and say, hey, what's the duration? Do we want to do quarterly? And we want to align with that fiscal year there. And then what I can do is I can go through and actually set those targets for each of the months as well. Once that's done, I can apply those, and then it'll go through and I'll go through and actually set it up. Those notifications, I believe, do come through as well. So you'll get that notification. But also, if you go back to that original page that we had after it's been set up, it will start giving you progression on how things are going, whether it's been achieved, missed, or on the way as well. So I think that there are going to be new developments over the next 6 months with this tool. But I would recommend that if you have got it in your portal and you want to do it, make sure, or you've got a sales team, make sure you're at least using that or something to track the progression of, I guess, revenue if you've got enterprise, but any of the other ones if you've got those as well. So I did do a speed round through that because of time, but if you've got any questions on that, we've got the chat box, also the comments in there as well.
Show the team view as well, just quickly. Okay. There is the team view there where you can see it broken down by actual teams that you've created in HubSpot. So it could be the sales team and just focus on them, or it could be a different team that you've got.
Yeah, I think that you can group them by individual or for the whole team, but Jacinta's just dropped the knowledge base link in there as well, if you guys want to try it out yourself. Cool.
Thank you, Matt. This next one is properties and deal cards and color tags. It's funny for a lot of portals we jump into. I do notice that they've still got like the default deal properties appearing in the deal cards, what that kind of looks like. And there's two different things I'll show you here. There's these properties here that we can update. You'll see here that we can actually add additional ones to this view, as well as this high value tag here. If I jump into it, there's the properties down the side here is that you'll often find that, throw a few more in here, or this pipeline has different things.
Yeah.
Surprising. Yeah, I was like, what? But you see, like I jump into portals and it's still like the last contacted, deal name, deal amount, quite basic. And people have created custom properties, but they haven't added them to this view. And they've come a long way in the last probably 6 months with allowing you to customize a lot more than you used to be able to. So the first thing is, I'll jump into that in a second. The ability to update these properties that actually appear on your deal card, so you can see your highest priority properties right off the bat here. And you'll see here one that I've actually had a client only recently use is this next step property that HubSpot has. They were using it as a way to quickly see everything here and see the next step that needs to be taken for this. So you'll see here this one, for example, decision maker has been away, presenting to them and getting sign off on this meeting, which will happen on the 12th of the 4th. So rather than needing to click into each individual deal and say, hey, team, what's the go with this? You just kind of hover over there and see it right off the bat. All these are the other kind of key metrics here that they want to see. What this looks like, I'm editing it in the cog at the top.
I will say, for those that don't know, the settings or the cog that we call it, if you're on a specific page and click on the settings, the cog or the settings icon at the top, it will take you for the settings of that specific page, not just a general settings. So if you're in the deal pipeline and click on the cog, then it will take you to the deal pipeline settings. So it's dynamic enough to bring you into the settings of what you're actually in at that moment, which is actually helpful.
It should about 90% of the time. A bit loose and takes me, I'm trying to go to like here and it'll take me somewhere like up here.
Yeah, right.
So with this, there's the record customization, and you'll see here, there's all these different things you can now customize. I think
this never used to be here.
a year ago, you could probably customize the left sidebar and that was about it. Now, when you go into deals, you've got that overview tab. You can add, there's a new one here, adding additional tabs there and views. I'll just click on this quickly. You can do it for your specific team. So if you have, maybe you've got a sales team, you can customize their view only, but then your onboarding team who take over the deal later, they get a different view and see different properties. I'll quickly just show you this. So you can see here, these are those, when you're in that activity view, overview, here are all the different things that appear and you can reorder them. And there's not anything else you can add here just yet, but I'm sure in time they'll add more. Then it's the customize the left sidebar. That's the properties we want to do. So I'll quickly jump into that. And you'll see here, it's a different sort of view. So it's about this deal. That's that core one we were looking at.
And the one underneath it.
And you can add in different sections. So you could go add section, and it could be onboarding details. And this is where you can then search for all the different properties that you want to show just for the onboarding details. One helpful thing here is you can make this conditional as well. So you could say that by property, so you could say this only appears if the pipeline is e-commerce.
Yeah.
If it's just the e-commerce pipeline, then that section appears there. So you could have, these exact same, well, not really about this deal, but you could have the exact same properties across multiple sections, but they'll only appear once if you've got a more conditional based on where they need to appear. So that's updating that. So we've got our most important ones here. I haven't really updated anything, so I won't save that. So that's one simple thing here. That's updating that. Take a bit of a look at all these other ones you can customize. The other thing I was going to show you is just this new tags, color tags feature that's been added to HubSpot. This is done in pipelines, and that was where on that deal pipeline you saw the high value tag on it. If I go down to not our new plumbing business, our little side hustle, you can do the customize deal tags. There's also customize the deal card. So that's where I was doing that next step and adding it. You can see here, these are the things that are going to appear.
This was actually a lifesaver because you're only allowed to have a default 2 lines. It was amount and close date. back in the day. You can have whatever you want now. So if it's a deal property, you can have it there. You can have up to 4 lines, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So helpful.
So think about the information you collect in that deal process, what's valuable for you, and what are you clicking into the deal all the time trying to find out? It might be, like Geordie said, like, what's the next meeting date? Or I think I've got one to show you, like there'll be a property there called presentation date. You could basically go through and just understand when's that next presentation date without having to go through and ask or look in the reps calendar or going through and actually digging in and having a look at the activity. So find out what's important for you as like a sales leader or either a salesperson, and edit this specifically so that it just helps you understand things a lot quicker.
And I think as well with that, like if you're doing a weekly sales meeting, you can have all the properties appearing on the deal cards. You don't need to go dive into each individual deal. Like, it might save you a couple of seconds of load time. But you think about that over all the deals for your sales team every single week. Just, you can see everything you need to in one glance. The other new thing, and this is brand new, I think in the last couple of weeks, is these colored tags. And that was actually deal pipeline. That's this little thing just here. So what this is you can customize whatever this is. We created this one that is high value, and you create the criteria of when it appears and the color.
So that high value, I think we said it was over $100,000.
So just like the name, the color, what specific pipelines it appears on. We only want it on this test pipeline. Then the filters. So this kind of works like lists or any sort of filter within HubSpot. So if we go amount is greater than $10,000 and deal owner is a specific rep, and so you can color code all the reps ones so they can easily spot which ones are theirs, or anything you want here. It could be, you could build a criteria based on number of times contacted. If you know this, if you know there are certain things in a deal that mean they're more likely, whether that's the number of times contacted, if it's a high value, like the amount here. There's certain products that are more likely to convert. You could set up tags based on a whole list of criteria, multiple ones here, and then that tag pops up, and so they're your, I guess, high value, hot lead ones.
A good maybe idea around this as well is like region specific or jurisdictions as well. So for example, if a rep is got a certain jurisdiction or area that they're kind of working in, then state or city, we could then sort of say, if this rep has this pipeline or whatnot, we could basically use color codes to sort of say, whether it's, Brisbane or Gold Coast, or whether it's Sunshine Coast, if you're working in sort of a localized area, then that way you can kind of sort of see. I think the easiest ones here would be high value, so that you can basically look through and that one would pop up red. But if you go back, George, you can go through and you can actually, if you edit that, change the colors. So if you go to the color, go to the colors, you can choose from a bunch of different colors as well. So you probably don't want to go too ham on the whole, rainbow thing on it. Probably just stick to maybe 1 or 2, 3 maybe max. What you don't want to do is just have too much information when it's not necessary. So ask yourself the question: is this high value tag giving me value from like an understanding point of view? I think this would definitely, because you can understand which one's a priority that you need to work through. As a sales leader, where are the high value ones right now? Where are they at? And then I can just sort of highly focus on those ones as well. So I think it's a good addition to what's going on as well. I hope they don't go too busy on the deal board, because it's
can be a lot when it's deals.
Yeah, I think if they keep it simple, that'd be nice. Thank you.
I think one good thing here actually is even using something like the close date, and it's like close date is within the next 7 days.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And amount is high, so there you go. They're the ones you need to target because they need to be closed before that close date.
Yeah, that's a good call, like actually. Choose your own adventure on that, actually.
That is actually.
You can actually do whatever you like. Next one, meetings tool for SMS reminder. This one came up when we were working with a client, actually. They came to us and they said that we want to increase the amount of email communication we do to ensure that these people actually show up to the meeting, because it was a face-to-face meeting. This was pre-COVID, but definitely it's coming back up. There are instances in some people that are actually coming to meet face-to-face. This could also be used for recruitment as well. So making sure that you sort of like go through and send them a meeting, an SMS the day of. It's been hugely successful since we've started sort of doing it for a few reasons. One, it allows the person to reply back to that SMS if it's not possible for them to attend, giving you more time in your day and understanding that early on in the day and not literally like getting ghosted or hearing about it like, you know, a minute or two before the actual meeting itself. Also, what I think it does is we use message media. It just works out pretty well, and the integration is really great. We've got a branded number. So basically, when you get a text message, it comes from NBHco or Neighbourhood. You can't reply back to that one, but it's a really good sort of user experience if somebody's touching your brand and they're sort of finding out about you. It's just a really nice touch to sort of have like, oh, cool, these guys have got this like really nice message to say, looking forward to meeting up today at this time or whatever. If there's anything, just let us know. So I think you should put it into it, and it can be used for a bunch of different sort of other use cases, if you will. How do you do it? So basically, we've got a big profit deal. I'm going to move that back here. Big profit deals come through. An easy way to do this, pretty simplistically, is we move this to the pitch. And then what we've got here is that we've got our presentation date. So the presentation date pops up, and we're going to sort of sit here and say, okay, well, it's going to actually be next Tuesday, and we are going to click on next. And that just moves it over, which is pretty cool. What's actually happening in the background? So if we actually go into the background here, again, it's a really easy sort of workflow, if you will. So what we're going to sort of say is the presentation date is known, and then we're going to delay till 7 o'clock in the morning on that date. We've got one deal in this action.
We've actually done this one wrong slightly.
What do you mean?
Because it's just saying date is known. We need to actually put the delay in until that date.
Delay till the date, yes. So it is known, and then we'll delay to the date. We'll put that there. Through and delay till 7 o'clock in the morning. And then what we'll do is at 7 a.m. Now you can change that. I like to do 7 o'clock in the morning because it gets into people's inboxes just before they get into work. You can change that as well. Like you can go up to 8 o'clock or 8:30. Just depends on what you want to do. I have sort of set this to sort of send only between Monday and Friday in the settings as well. But the idea is to try to get into the inbox or into the SMS just before they sort of start their day, allowing them to come back to you should they need to change it or move it or anything along those lines. So a tool that's actually really simple, but it really does give a good customer experience when it comes to catching up with somebody face to face. One thing I will say as well is that if somebody is meeting you, you can actually go to Google Maps, find your location, and actually do a short like bit.ly code essentially that will give you they can click on it at the time that they're meeting you and actually direct them directly where you are to make it easier to find you should you need to. So we did it for a training organization, and they needed to have people attend their campus to go ahead and actually have the discussion. We found sometimes that people got lost, people were late. So giving that sort of Google link to sort of click straight there and it'll give you direction straight away, helped overcome a barrier of people rocking up late, but also people forgetting as well. So it really did help. And I think that if you guys need to, I think you can spin up a free account. There's something we can put you in touch with AJ, but it's hugely beneficial. And I think that it definitely does add a nice touch to that user experience when they're sort of touching your brand and working with you as well.
I think something like that is like, you can add those additional properties like where is the meeting, in person or over Zoom. And in person is where it sends that link.
Yeah.
You can branch off and then send tailored messages.
Yeah, definitely.
Our next one here is calculation properties. It's another thing that people don't necessarily use. It is a property type inside HubSpot here. So if I go into the deal properties, I'm just going to go create.
This one is very good and also can be complex, if you will. So we are recording this, but it's there it is. But have a listen to this one because this one actually can really help.
So I've just gone to the field type and use calculation. And then here you can then build calculations based on all your different types of properties. So I'll jump out of this and show you some examples of some real ones. I've set it up before where, actually just show you guys this one. Actually, if I go, one thing is I had someone who their BDMs were getting paid on commission based on the total deal amount minus tax and freight as well. So they would put in the freight amount, the GST. I've set that up as an automatic calculation. And divided by 10. Hope that's right. But that's just the GST calculation there. So you can see that visible on a deal. I think back in that previous deal I showed you guys, I had it visible there. And then I also created the freight, which that is something you need to put in the actual cost. But if I go into edit this one here.
You were pretty chuffed when you came up with this one, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty good. There was a few tweaks on the calculation. Math is not my strongest suit here, but
thank God for ChatGPT.
That was well before that, actually. But you see here, like amount minus GST minus the freight, and then they say they get 10% of what that amount is. So it automatically calculates that. If I go back into one of the deals, that big profit deal we were looking at before, heaps of profit on that one.
Heaps of $8, wasn't it? 10% of that minus freight.
Only 250 actually.
250.
But you see, I put it on the front here, the BDM commission. So it's almost incentivizing the team. They can see the amount of commission they're going to get from deals. So to drive them to actually work harder on actually closing that one as well.
Where can I work to do these deals?
Big profit, mate. Welcome to Neighbourhood, mate. Big profit here. So you'll see here, I put these ones in here. So there's GST visible on here. Could hide that in the back end. Freight, and it automatically calculates that. So me as a BDM, I go, hey, if I close this, I'm going to get $22,000 commission. Like I want to close this one. That's just one example. You can do other calculations. If I go back in here, maybe I'll create a new one. You can do other ones, such as the time between. An example of this is doing the time between demo and a deal closing. So you can do here, minimum, maximum count. We're going to go talking time between. Going to do the time between presentation date and close date, but I only want this if the deal is won. If it's not won, I don't need to know this time difference. So we're going to say stage. We have a lot of ones here, but let's just call us. So I only want this calculation to actually work if it's in the closed won stage, and then you can kind of calculate, over time, if the time between let's say that's the initial presentation or discovery call and a deal getting closed shortens or it lengthens, and you can actually take a look at why that's occurring and work on that as well. If I create that, I can't remember if I actually put it on here.
Did anyone know, was anyone using, or does anybody know about calculation side of thing? If so, just reach out.
It's not even in the deal stage. That's why it's not going to calculate.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can use it for all different types of things. Like I've shown for that BDM calculation, like working out people's commission automatically, nice and simple, using GST, very simple. Time between, or you can kind of get really complex and intricate if you want. And if you've got multiple properties or different things you want to understand about specific deals, the one thing where in reports, you can then, build out an average time between those stages if you want to. But you can't necessarily add one amount from another deal to another deal together. But yeah, you use other platforms for that.
So how things are progressing. Awesome. All right. I'm going to do a speed round here. You've got 8 minutes to go.
I need to speed round a bit.
All right. The HubSpot Sales App. A lot of people, which is they should, because the app has got so much better over time. One thing I'm going to tell you, right? This is an iPhone. Hopefully you guys can see this. There are 2 things that I love to use inside the app. 1, the keyboard, and 2, the calling side of things. 1, the keyboard So how many times have you been on the road, writing an email, doing something on the go, and then you go, oh, hey, yeah, cool, no worries, let's catch up. Here's my meeting link. Or, hey, here's a document or something along those lines. And then you got to go and open up in Safari or Chrome and then log into HubSpot and then find out what your meeting link is or whatever that might be. They've actually HubSpot's got a keyboard that you can use. And what it is that when you're inside it, you can click on the little globe at the bottom once installed, and it will bring up all of these little tools that you've got. So meeting links, snippets, documents, quotes.
Maybe sequences as well.
That might be sequences, could be. So when you think about it in this aspect as well, this could get used for one, text messages, two, emails, anything, Slack, anything that you use on your phone that you input using the keyboard, you can switch to the HubSpot one and actually input them directly from HubSpot. So you actually don't need to necessarily go and do the dance, which I've done so many times in the past. I use this more than I thought because you now have the capability to do so. Second is the caller ID. So the caller ID, if you go into calling and you go to caller ID, if you go into settings, this is one really cool as well. If the phone number is in HubSpot, but not on your actual phone, it will still show up if they call you on your phone. So what I mean by that is Geordie, I haven't got him saved on my phone at all.
Thought we were mates.
We thought we were mates, but not anymore. I've deleted you. But his record does live inside HubSpot. So if he calls me, it's going to pop up and say, Geordie Roberts, and then underneath it's going to say HubSpot because it's got all of those details inside HubSpot. So all of the phone numbers that are inside HubSpot now also now live, your phone will actually show up and tell you exactly who it is. Very cool because you know exactly who it is. Last but not least, this is a really poorly executed message here. Geordie mentioned as well is that if you are on the go and leaving notes, and you hate using the actual keyboard itself, you could actually dictate any of the notes or any of the emails as well inside the Hub. You can do it anywhere, but inside the HubSpot app if you need to do so. So you're not having to actually spend time clicking. You can just talk into your phone and be one of those people.
I think with that one, it's also like if you call through the HubSpot app, after you hang up the call, it pops up with, oh, do you want to add any notes? You can just press that and say, hey, I spoke to Trav. He's going to go ahead with that.
We're not mates anymore.
We're not mates anymore. Hopefully he adds me into his phone soon.
Yeah.
And then you can set a follow-up task there as well. And it just writes it all for you. So don't actually have to sit there and type it out.
Yeah. Awesome.
Really helpful.
Really helpful. Embedding reports. So
speed round.
Going to speed round here. So you can embed stuff into HubSpot, which is really, really good. No, I don't believe it allows GPS tracking. Is the app native and allows. The app it's its own app, so you can use the own app. You can also call from it. I don't believe it allows GPS track. I don't think it needs GPS in any way, shape, or form. I've never been asked to say track because there'd be no real reason then. If you've got more questions around that, just shout out and I'll stop and have it. Embedding. So you can actually embed anything you want. It's really sort of built around embedding. This is just a dummy example from DataBox that we've got here as well. So we've got all this dummy data. We can embed anything we want. So if you're using Google Data Studio, DataBox, you could even import like slides from today, and you might know what's coming up if we scroll down. But you can import anything. To do that, actions, add external content. And then in here, you've got all of these. You could put a YouTube video if you want. Any other content as well, you can go through and you put the URL or embed code, and it will go through and embed it. We do it. I know Amanda, who's our ops here, she puts our time tracking in the dashboard as well. Just be mindful as well. If you need to log in, you might need to log in again, just depending on what it is. So use that if you're having to switch from tab to tab to tab to tab. This is a really easy way to be able to find what you need if you are using the sales tools itself.
I think one thing with sales is some people like to build complex reports in Excel or Google Sheets.
Yeah.
And you can embed it in here. And then even like, if you travel, click on one of these slides. This needs to load a little bit here, but you can actually interact with whatever you've embedded here. Didn't really like that at that time.
Just one moment. Yeah. This computer is not old.
We can interact with this in here. So if you've got Excel, a sheet in there, you can add properties and add data from inside HubSpot.
So much so that we're going to present using the embedded versions for the rest of it. There we go. We're here. Use of documents with lead scoring. So again, we've only got 2 minutes left. A lot of people don't necessarily use this as they should. If you're sending regular documents to people and you basically want to understand what they're doing and how they're looking at it, you can go into the sales and the documents area. It's a very old tool. I feel like they need to update it. It's been kicking about for I don't know, since I started using that years ago. But basically, this is from the good guys at Livin. This is the fundraiser toolkit that we've got as well. Now, if I'm having to send this out consistently to the same people, I want to understand, are they opening it? How often are they opening it, etc. What I can do is in the keyboard, I can go through and I can attach it, or I can create a link here and I can say, this is going to be sent to George. And what it will do, it will create a link and I can basically flick this out to him. Now I know when he clicks it, I know when he's looking at it, I know which pages he's looking at, I know how often he's opening it as well. And that will start showing up and it'll start notifying you inside your email as well. Very cool tool. Sorry, I'm going to continue with this one.
Just go for it, mate.
Yeah. Sales analytics and reporting. We are at 1 minute.
1 minute. Sales analytics and reporting. I think the key thing here is that HubSpot has ready-made templates and reports for you to use. So while every business needs some sort of custom reporting, there's some simple stuff already set up here. So in reports, analytics tools, there's obviously all the different types of analytics here.
This is a test enterprise account, so there might be some other ones popping up there.
There might be some reports, which I think most are pretty good. But put simply, like coach reps and teams, here are all the different types here. So you could go completed activities last month. Trav had a bit of a slow, one task completed for the month, but this will include things.
Very busy.
A lot on. This will include things like sending emails, how many they sent for the month, calls, tasks, how many notes they added to deals. But you can go through here and see all the different types. Forecasts and pipelines. Forecasting is something I think you could probably do a whole thing on itself, but these different types of, I wonder if there's actually going to be any data in this.
Most definitely not.
A little bit here.
There's color.
They actually give you some ready-made templates. Good to go here. Some sales outcomes, deal loss reasons. Don't think we're going to have any dummy data of that. Deal velocity. No data.
I guess the thing is that there's a lot of templates in there that you guys can use that you can help, I guess, get a better understanding of how things. So HubSpot comes out with a pretty standard set of sales, reporting tools. Spend some time in going to the reporting and analytics tools and actually picking the one and using the save the report function at the very top and adding that to one of your dashboards as well.
I think here as well, like it gives you a description here. If I go about this report, there's the description about it, what it is, how it works, the properties that it pulls from. They really explain all the detail that you kind of need. And this is just some core ones. You're not going to find everything you need for your business in here. There's other places like in the reports tool, you can create reports and then go to report library and view different types. But it's probably just a tool that you don't need to dive in here and feel lost looking at all the data.
Sort of glance, more glancing at sort of things.
You've got some things ready made here for you. Good to go.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, that brings us to a minute past. We're going to use the wrong. Sorry, wrong one here. Is there any questions or ideas that anyone sort of, I know we're a little bit over time, so all good if you guys need to leave. It is getting recorded. But is there any questions, ideas, or anything that we've sort of mentioned that you guys can bring back into your HubSpot account and start sort of utilizing? And if so, which one do you really want to sort of start implementing sooner rather than later? I won't wait for everyone to write just in case they don't. But I did, as I mentioned as well, the recording and the slide deck will be up very, very soon. It'll be sent out via email after this. It just give me about an hour or so just to sort of put it all together. But thanks so much for joining today. I apologize for being a little bit over time. We're taking a break next month, but we will be back the month after. So April's obviously a bit of a short month for us here. So we should be back in early June, same time early June, to get things all kicked off. So thanks guys for coming along. You've got goals up first and custom calculations.
Service Pro. Yeah, that's a great shout.
Yeah, Service Pro, I think we're starting to tick through all the different types of ones. I think we just sort of did a general 20 with Bree last time, and we're doing sort of 10 now with George. So I think marketing and service are definitely going to be up, and then with CMS and all the rest of them as well. So we are. Yep.
I was going to say, with the service stuff, they've made so many changes, so that'll be
a big one.
A really meaty one.
Yeah. Like I said, we are taking a bit of a break for next month. So we will be back in early June. And if there's any questions in the meantime, reply back to the emails that you get sent out. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just write in the comments below. But thanks, George, for coming.
Thank you,
Matt. It's been great.
Very nice.
I'd say go grab a beer, but it's a bit early. So.